Hello everyone, it's Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and today I have a 12 by 12 layout for you. So this is a photo of my cat who is sitting on my knee with a blanket over him, or under him, sorry, he's sitting on top of a blanket which is covering me because it was cold, and I am reading a book. And this is something that I love to do in my kind of spare time. Not that I have a hell of a lot of it, but when I do, I love to read. And so I was doing this as a challenge on a Facebook page, and there's a particular quote they wanted us to scrap a photo with, and so that's where I took inspiration from for this particular layout. So I pulled some photos, I pulled some paper from my stash, and I'm just sort of wanting to go for a bit of a unusual geometric-y type pattern. So I'm kind of cutting triangles with all the different pieces of pattern paper. Now there's lots of different patterns. There's a similar tone to the colours, but lots of different colours. So a bit of yellow, navy, sort of reddy and green kind of running through. And the photo is also quite dark as well, with the colour of the blanket and the cat and the couch. So you can see here, again, just going with the triangles. I just pulled a whole heap of triangles. That paper has a gold foil running through it, which is pretty cool. And I'm just trying to work out how I want these to kind of look. And I have sped this up 3 times, and I still faff around for ages trying to look at how I want this to go, and I try lots of different kind of ways, and before sort of eventually obviously deciding on what I want to go with as the final option. But you can see me here, and then I pull them all off, and then I go again, and I think, maybe do I only want the paper to sort of cover half of the white cardstock, or yeah, anyway, backwards and forwards. So what have you guys all been up to? I feel like my sister and I haven't had a video up for a while. Lots of stuff happening for us at the moment, just in our private lives, so we might be not up online as much as we would potentially like in the next sort of week or so. Unfortunately, our grandmother passed away last week, so we are spending time with family and grieving, and while we are celebrating the wonderful life that she had, and so grateful for her. And we had her in our lives for a very, very long time. She was 97 when she passed away. But still, it's sad, and the grieving process is sad, and we do, want to give ourselves time to sort of do that and go through that process. So I am uploading this video, but we might have a bit of a hiatus for a week or so while we just hang out with family and spend time, with our family. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there for us until we come back, and just know that that's where we are. So we will be back soon. So that's enough of the sad stuff. Back to the layout. I have decided on my placement, so I'm just sticking down all of the pieces of pattern paper at the moment. So yeah, there's not really any right or wrong way to do it. I'm just kind of trying to stick it down and trying not to stick the other loose pieces down under the other ones. And yes, it's not an exact science. If you watch my videos, you know I don't bother measuring things. I just stick them down, and sometimes I make mistakes, and that's okay. So I was really happy with how this layout turned out. Very different to what I normally do. Even though I normally like to make, pattern paper sort of the feature, but I still like to use a white cardstock as my background. I don't normally use this much pattern paper, and I don't normally use this much different kind of patterned paper. Does that even make sense? That's a lot of patterned in that sentence. But yes, there's lots of different patterns and bright colours and, things that don't maybe necessarily match all going on here together, but I really like how it turned out in the end, and certainly something, as I said, a bit different for me, and something that I don't normally do, but really happy with it, and really happy with kind of how it looked in the end. Really happy. So I think I'm just figuring out how I can make this piece of paper work here, and still look like a triangle and all sort of go in the right, like all kind of match up. So I am trying to trim it down, and again, not an exact science, just making things up as I go. But I do think I kind of get it to work in the end. But I didn't want that So see how on the side there on the left there's a gap with the pattern paper. I didn't want there to be a gap, so that's why I sort of wanted to stick this pink plaid paper over there. So I do stick that down and trim the excess off that hangs over the edge, and yeah, really happy with how it all kind of came together in the end. I said very busy, very unlike what I normally do, but yeah, I like it. I like it. I like to do things that are a bit different and kind of, yeah, push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit. Now, I did really want to use this gold paper, and you'll notice at the start I did cut some triangles out with it, but it didn't go for me very well kind of with the background that I did. So in the end I thought maybe what I might do is back the photo on that. So I do trim my photo down a little bit because there was a bit of excess space I didn't need. Unfortunately, I'd already stuck the tape, double-sided tape down, so I did kind of mess up my trimmer a bit and get some gunk on it because I cut it after I'd peeled the double-sided tape off. Rookie error. So I do end up backing it first with a sheet of vellum, and then I do use this gold foil stripe paper as well. So I do think that it was really lovely to have that little bit of gold peeking through. Now, because this is a layout about reading, I knew that I had the Maggie Holm open book collection, which had a couple of chipboard pieces of books that I hadn't used yet. Even though I love reading, I just hadn't used them on a layout. So I am popping my photo up on with some foam squares. Now, of course, I pulled out the smallest foam squares in my stash and had to stick a million on. I always do that. It takes forever to peel off all the little bits. So I'm just kind of placing this chipboard, but not actually pushing it down yet, because I think that's where I want it to go, but I'm not really sure, and so I don't kind of push it all the way down. I just place it on top so it's easy to move. So I do put those there, and then I pull out a whole heap of different thickers because I'm trying to work out how I want my title to look. So the quote, as I said, I have a quote that we were given as part of the scrapbook challenge that I was looking at Facebook. So I think it's called Home is Where Our Story Begins. So that is what I'm just spelling out here with my different thickers. I kind of wanted it, the eclectic look to keep going. So I started with the eclectic look in the background paper, and I wanted that to continue on with the title. So I did spell out Home is Where Our Story Begins, I think it says. And so I just went through and found some different thickers that sort of matched the eclectic look but did still fit with the layout. And you can see here I really like these black ones. I feel like they're Amy Tan. I think I've got like 4 packets of them. And yeah, I really like them. So yeah, I've used them on heaps of layouts, but I'm running out of vowels. I've got lots of other different letters, but I am running out of some of my vowels. So it's Home is Where Your Story Begins, not our. Same, different. So just trying to figure out now which of my thickers I can spell the word begins with. So not those lovely gold ones on the side there. I didn't have enough vowels to spell out begins, so I had to pick a different set out of my stash. And I did go with our gold chipboardy type one, but they are a chipboard and they stick like straight away, so I couldn't put them on that piece of plastic that I'm using to help place my title because I knew that they wouldn't stick. So I edited out this sticking down the title because who needs to see that? So due to the power of editing, look at that, my title is already stuck down. Home is Where Your Story Begins. I did faff around with it for ages because it wasn't kind of in the right place and I had to move it and blah blah blah. But you can't pull up those gold thickers that I use for the word begins once I've stuck them down, so that did limit me a little. Learnt that the hard way. So now I'm going through just a stash I keep, a little bowl of different embellishments I keep on my desk, just that I use, that I like and that I kind of pull out things from as I'm going. So I did raid that and I had a look at what else I had on my desk, some puffy stickers. I'm not sure that I use those, maybe I use one. And no, didn't use the puffy stickers, and now I am just pulling out some tiny word stickers from Tim Holtz. I think they're the small talk ones, and putting some of those down. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of all. I put a few little flowers down on the layout, but nothing major. I mean, there's so much going on with that paper that I didn't want to put much else down, so I stuck a few of the little flowers around the layout, and I just used those 2 chipboard pieces, and I backed the chipboard in the bottom right on like another ephemera piece that I think is maybe a journaling card or something, but I just used that as to sort of back the stack of books down there. And yeah, just going through pulling out some appropriate tiny word stickers, and now I think I'm getting my gold Heidi Swap Colour Shine Mist, and I'm just going to do some drops of that around, some splatters, mainly just in the white space, but you know, and then just go crazy. It's like, I'll just put it in the white space. Then I put it everywhere. Did I put this colour on? I must have, given that I'm shaking it so vigorously. So this must be my navy one. I really like this navy one. It almost dries like a silver. It's really cool. Probably one of my favourite colours from that range. So I am going to show you some close-ups now of my final layout. I do slow it down for you so you can see it. But I really loved how this turned out. As I said, something really different for me, something that I don't normally scrap like this, but yeah, I really like how it turned out and really happy with it. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you when we're back in the next week or so. Alright everyone, we'll see you next time. Bye!